Welcome back. I want you to imagine a really important relationship in your life. I mean one that really matters to you. And you've messed up. Something's gone wrong and you've made a mistake and your relationship is at risk. In fact, you're worried that your relationship is really at risk. You don't know if it's going to survive. Now, imagine how important it would be to you in that moment to know how to apologize effectively. Apologizing effectively is a skill, and it's totally one that we can learn. And there are 5 powerful steps that we call the 5 A's of a good apology that I'm going to kind of walk you through and teach today. The first A is really the hardest one. It's admit that you're wrong. Too often we really struggle with admitting that we're wrong. A lot of times people believe that admitting that they're wrong is a sign of weakness, when actually admitting that you're wrong is a sign of huge strength. This hurdle is also a problem because too often we think that the reason for an apology is to explain our actions, like why I did this. But the real reason for an apology is not to explain our actions. The real reason for apology is to heal a relationship and to right a wrong. And if we think about the apology and get it wrong in our head that the apology is about explaining our actions, then it comes out as an excuse or as even blaming the person that we hurt. Also, often we think because we think we're right in our mind that we shouldn't apologize. But we have to remember that relationship is important. And even if we don't always think that we were wrong, often it's still a great idea to apologize and find a way to admit the wound. This was a big problem that I had when I was younger on apology. I used to apologize all the time, but I was apologizing in a very ineffective way. I would often say something like, "I'm sorry you misunderstood me," or "I'm sorry, but I had a lot going on," or whatever. Or, "I'm sorry you took it the wrong way." All of these kinds of apologies, when you're making an excuse or putting the blame on the victim, it's not an effective apology and it doesn't really help that person heal. I need to have it right in my head and clear in my head that I am apologizing because I want to heal this relationship and I want to right this wrong. So that's the first step. Admit that you're wrong. And if you can get over that hurdle, it gets a lot easier from there. The second step is to acknowledge the hurt that has happened to this other person. And this takes us back to that skill of empathy, being able to see what they're feeling and put yourself in their shoes and feel a little bit of what they're feeling. But I want to think from their perspective how my actions might have hurt their feelings. And in an ideal world way, I'd like to say something like, "I understand how that might have hurt your feelings. That would probably hurt my feelings if that happened to me." So acknowledging the hurt is a good second step. The third step is just to apologize. And you can say, "I'm sorry," which is a very common way of doing that, or you can say, "I apologize." I kind of prefer the "I apologize." It might sound a little bit more formal, but I think it's a little bit more effective. The fourth one is to make amends. And this is kind of a funny word. It again starts with A and it's amends. Making amends means to try to do something to repair the hurt or the injury. So like if I did something and helped them and ended up breaking their phone, well, I could offer to make amends by offering to help pay for it or replacing that phone. But there's a lot of things that are injuries that we can't really fix. And we end up trying to make amends, and in the best way we can, it's generally by promising to do better in the future. So if the problem is not fixable, you want to promise to do better in the future. The last step, the 5th A, is actually optional and it is situational, meaning that you shouldn't always do it. And this A is ask for forgiveness. Sometimes the wound is so deep and what you have done has crossed a line in such a way and the wound is so deep that asking for an apology in that moment can be a second wound because they're not ready to forgive you yet. Imagine I did something and horribly embarrassed my son or my daughter in front of their friends and intentionally did it, and they were just horrified. If I immediately said, sorry, please forgive me, they are not ready to forgive me yet. I need to give them time to, let those feelings kind of subside a little bit, and then maybe I can apologize again and ask for forgiveness. So you really need to think before you ask for forgiveness, is this the right time to ask for forgiveness? So let me give you an example. So let's imagine that you confided in me something important. I'm a close friend and you confided in me something important. And then I kind of forgot that it was a secret and told some people, and then it blew up on social media, it really embarrassed you. And now we're in this situation where I really feel terrible and I want to heal that relationship. I want to go through those steps, but I don't want to make it robotic. I wouldn't want to say, sorry, I know you're hurt. I would be hurt. I apologize. I promise to do better in the future. Please forgive me. Yeah, I went through the steps, but without sincerity, it doesn't have the impact. I need to say, I'm really sorry that happened. I was wrong for doing that. I totally understand why you're upset. It would really hurt my feelings if you had shared my secret. I apologize, and I promise to do better in the future. Please forgive me. The sincerity is really important, that you are sincere as you go through those steps. At first, when you start doing this, you'll be thinking about the steps, but eventually it'll just be the way you apologize, and it will come much natural. A good apology is like relationship superglue, and doing it well can not only help you heal a relationship and right a wrong, but often make your relationship stronger. So when you make a mistake, apologize. You'll be glad you did. I'll see you in the next video.